What's up everyone, my name is Liam and today I'm back with my 2008 Mazda 3 hatchback because today we've got to figure out why this window is so loose. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Watch this. It is not supposed to be loose like that at all. That's something to do with the regulator. Maybe the window just isn't bolted down properly, I'm not really sure. But every time I go to put it up, you can hear something audible. And it very much sounds like the window just isn't bolted down all the way on that regulator. So let's go ahead and remove this door panel real quick and we'll see what's up. So we'll remove the tweeter and its trim, and then we'll go and grab some tools. And the tools we're gonna need are a Phillips head screwdriver and a 10mm ratchet. Just for good measure, I also got a flathead bit as well, because we might need it during this procedure. Alright, so first up, we're going to have to pop this little cover right here, and then we'll pop open that little cover as well. There's a Phillips head screw in here that holds this trim piece on for the door handle, but I'm using a flathead because it doesn't matter, it's not tight. There's also a Phillips head screw right there, but again, I'm using the flathead. And when that screw is out, I'm just gonna close this and trap it inside of the door panel. Now we'll go ahead and open the door handle and then pull out just like that. And this is the switch for the lock button. And voila, that's off. Now, ideally, the way I usually take these panels off is I either put a pry tool down there on the bottom of the door panel and I'll pry it off that way. But this one's been off before, so it should be relatively easy to take off. So all I'm going to go ahead and do is just give it a good tug, just like that. Now, if this is your first time taking off a door panel on one of these cars, be sure to get extra clips for it, because you are definitely bound to break them when removing this thing. But after that, we'll go ahead and just pull up just like that, and then we can set the door panel down right there. There's a clip for the window button right here, so we'll go ahead and remove that. And now the door panel is free from the car. Now, I think my first plan of attack is to visually see why the heck this window is so wobbly. And to do that, we're going to take this panel off right here. This is just held on by some butyl adhesive, so make sure not to touch this on anything because it is very gooey and it is extremely hard to get out of places. Alright, well, you can't really see what's wrong with the window regulator like I can, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is just replace it, because honestly it should be relatively easy enough. I've already removed the door handle, which, by the way, to do that, all you got to do is stick a flathead screwdriver inside of that little gap right there and push this way. Then you can pull this little piece upwards, and then out comes the handle. And to get this black panel off, it's actually pretty easy. All we've got to do is make sure the window is all the way up, then we'll tape the window and take off this motor first. There's 3 10mm bolts right there holding that on, and after that there's going to be more 10mm bolts holding this black piece on, including these two right here, and those are for the window regulator. So let's just go ahead and get all this crap removed. Luckily for me, when I bought this car, the previous owner gave me a brand new regulator for this side. I assume because he was having issues with this, and honestly, I've been having issues with it since I got the car, but you know how I am. I've got other crap to do. But just like that, with that last screw right there, this window regulator is ready to be removed. Now, this thing is supposed to twist off, so if it's a little hard to remove, go ahead and just do that. Blip the switch just a tiny bit, and it'll come straight off. Now we'll go ahead and unplug this thing right there and set it off to the side. Now let's go ahead and get our 10mm bolts out from the door of the car, and they're just going to start falling, which is fine. Let's go ahead and clean up our mess real quick. Behind the cables for the door handle is a little clip right here, so let's go ahead and remove that. And now let's go ahead and take off the bolt for the window regulator. be sure not to lose these because I'm pretty sure when you buy a new regulator, you have to reuse these ones. But anyways, let's go ahead and just peel back this panel. I'm pretty sure it's just adhered with either butyl or foam adhesive, something simple like that. And then I'm pretty sure these are access holes for the regulator. So let's go ahead and take these off. So what I went ahead and did is took off the tape for the window, and now we're going to go ahead and slide this thing down just like this. As you can see, we can do it by hand when the window motor is not installed. And if we put the window down properly, we can match up the bolts for the regulator with these two little holes right here, which makes removing this thing a lot easier. When it comes to these bolts, I highly recommend not zipping them off with an impact driver if you have one. These are, of course, connected to glass. Dude, this one wasn't even tight. That's a little insane. All right, that's kind of funny. Anyways, as I was saying, with the impact, you run the risk of possibly damaging your glass. Alrighty, so I got the bolts for the regulator removed. They honestly fell inside of the door, but that's no worry since we've already got this panel disconnected right here. What I went ahead and did is pulled the window back up because now it's not connected to anything, and I taped it again. So now let's go ahead and pull back this cover right here. And what we're going to want to focus on is getting our hands in here and then twisting this. As you can see, it's locked into place, so when we twist it to the right, it comes right out. Perfect. And after that, the regulator just kind of falls down, so oh, this is going to be a pain to remove now. Ah, there we go. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and just take this thing right on out. Awesome, here is the old regulator, so let's go ahead and get the new one ready to be installed. One important thing you want to make sure to do is make sure that your parts look identical, and as you can see, this is the new one and this is the old one. The only thing different between the two is the fact that the OEM one has a little hole right there and this one doesn't, which that's not going to affect anything, so I'd say we are perfect. If there's one thing I've learned about doing regulators on this car, it's to add some foam to this black piece right here, because a lot of times, especially when you replace them with aftermarket ones, they tend to smack the window, and when you're playing music loud, it's very, very annoying because all you get is the vibrations from this thing smacking the window. So what I've got here are some foam adhesive pad things, and we're just going to stick some of them, like one or two, right on this exposed piece right there. And we are just about ready to install this, but as you can see, the factory that this came from installed a couple of zip ties to keep this gear from falling out. So let's go ahead and just cut those real quick. Alright, so now it's time to put this back inside of the door, or should I say into the door, because this one's new. And as you can see, I slid mine back into place. Now our first step is going to be installing the gear right here and clicking it back into place. So what we're going to go ahead and do is line it up real quick, just like that, and then slide it right into place. Now let's go ahead and install this panel once more. So first up, we'll do this clip, and mine's a little broken. I don't really know how, but whatever, it doesn't matter. But there you go. Now that this clip is installed, it's going to make putting these bolts in a lot easier. And as you can see, I've got all the bolts installed. So next up, let's go ahead and align this window regulator, and what we're looking for is to try and get this stud to come through this hole. That's going to be probably the hardest part to be honest, but then after that we can go ahead and place that one through as well, and then we'll take our nuts and just lightly thread them on. Just like that, and same goes for this one right here. And then we'll go ahead and tighten them as well. Perfect. Now this is probably going to be one of the sketchiest parts about replacing this window regulator. I've got to drop this window all the way down until it sits in here. And this window is heavy and it's not connected to anything, so let's just hope it doesn't break. All right, well, I've got both the bolts installed, as you can see right there. So now it's time we plug this thing up with our two plugs. We'll go ahead and just pop these right back in. And then we're going to go ahead and raise the window all the way back up and then tape it back down so that we can install the motor. All right, so aligning this motor is pretty hard to do on camera. What you've got to do is take your arm behind here and hold the window regulator in place while you put on this motor. It helps to kind of raise or lower the window slightly, like what I did here. I lowered it ever so slightly. It helped me get the gear for the motor to go into the gear for the regulator. Just be very careful, because just like I did, I tried to twist this and the regulator popped out of place and fell inside of there. So I had to jam my hand in here and get it to go back on the door panel. But as you can see, we're all good now, at least hopefully. Let's go ahead and plug this window motor in place. Now I think it's time to test our work and see if we did good. Let's go ahead and try it. All right, it goes all the way down. And it goes all the way up. And as you can see, no sounds, no nothing. Perfect. And as you could also see, the window was a lot more solid. It's not moving at all compared to what it was doing before. So now I think it's time to install our door panel, clean up the window, and move on to something else. And just like that, we are finished. As you can see, one more time, window rolls down, window rolls up. So perfect. It was a super simple replacement, so I'm glad I just got it out of the way. But with that being said, I think it's time I get out of here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, whether you needed help or you were just watching for fun. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out.